Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel, where we dig deep into what it takes to rise above the chaos and become the best version of yourself. Today, we're talking about emotional maturity, how it's the secret weapon that keeps you stacking wins no matter what life throws at you. If you're ready to level up your mind and your life, stick around. And hey, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and smack that bell icon so you never miss a drop of this fire. Let's get into it. Section 1. Embracing the storm. Let them jeer. Let them hiss and howl. I thrive in the chaos of their disbelief. Every shout, every sneer, it's fuel to my fire, a symphony of defiance that drives me forward. I've heard the chorus of skeptics since the first day I laced up my shoes, since the moment I dared to dream beyond the ordinary. It's not just noise, it's my heartbeat, my rhythm, a reminder that I was forged in resistance, shaped by the very forces that tried to hold me back. The crowd's disdain doesn't weaken me, it sharpens my edge. I've walked through shadows so thick they swallowed the sun, and I didn't flinch. By the time I emerged, the light wasn't a savior. It was just another challenge to conquer. Michael Jordan once said, "Obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or work around it." That's my creed. The louder they doubt, the higher I climb. This isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving myself right. The boos are a mirror, reflecting not their judgment, but my resolve. I was born in the crucible of opposition, molded by the weight of disbelief. It's not arrogance, it's clarity. The world can scream its skepticism, but it's powerless against a spirit that feeds on the storm. I don't just endure it, I revel in it. So go ahead, keep the noise coming. It's my wind, my current, pushing me toward shores they'll never see. I'm not here to silence the doubters. I'm here to outlast them. Every jeer is a stepping stone, every taunt a spark. This is my arena, my battlefield, and I've already won the moment I decided their voices don't define me, they ignite me. Section 2. The Unseen Forge. Let the world scoff at my convictions. I'd stake my life on them. I don't bow to the myth of talent, that fleeting gift handed down by fate. My place here isn't a birthright, it's a monument built brick by brick, through sweat-soaked nights and relentless days. The spotlight catches the victories, the gleaming peaks, but it misses the quiet valleys, the endless hours of grind no one envies, the small, unglamorous steps that bridge the gap between dream and reality. They marvel at the summit, but they don't see the climb. Kobe Bryant once said, "Great things come from hard work and perseverance, no excuses." That's where champions are forged, not in the roar of the crowd, but in the silence of the training ground, where the only witness is your own will. It's the 4 a.m. wake-ups, the extra reps when your body begs for rest, the days when the rain pours and you run anyway. Success isn't a snapshot. It's a mosaic of unseen battles won before the war even begins. This isn't about what you're born with. It's about what you're willing to endure. The falls outnumber the triumphs, but each stumble is a lesson, each bruise a badge. Mediocrity isn't an option. It's a ghost I've banished for good. The alternative to pushing past the pain is a half-lived life, and I'd rather break than bend to that. Every ounce of effort, every 110% I pour in is my defiance against the ordinary, a solid day's work that carves my name into something eternal. Power isn't a gift bestowed on the swift or the clever. It's seized by those who refuse to relent. I've learned this truth. What seems delusional is just vision waiting to be proven. The impossible bends to the one who dares everything, who sees the wall and builds a ladder. They'll call it madness until the moment it works. Then they'll call it genius. My reality isn't shaped by their doubts. It's forged in the fire of my own unwavering belief. Section 3. The Fuel of Obsession. Let them laugh. I've been their punchline since day one. An outsider like me rising to the top? Impossible, they'd cackle, their voices dripping with scorn. He's a dreamer, a loudmouth, a fool. The jeers echoed through every step of my journey, a chorus of disbelief that only tightened my grip on the path ahead. But that laughter, that doubt, it's my oxygen, my spark. I don't just hear it. I seek it, I crave it, because every mocking word is a brick in the fortress I'm building. Doubt me? Good. I don't play for applause. I play to win. All in, no half measures. Growth demands sacrifice, a crucible of suffering that separates the dreamers from the doers. Some will shrink from the heat, but I embrace it, because a fleeting sting today buys an eternity of triumph tomorrow. Michael Jordan didn't just chase titles, he hunted greatness with a ferocity that silenced arenas. That's my blueprint. Total commitment, no retreat, only forward through the fire. Interest is for spectators. Obsession is for conquerors. Kobe Bryant didn't just love the game. He lived it, breathed it, owned it until it defined him. I've crossed that line too, consumed by the vision of becoming unbreakable, undeniable, the fiercest force I can be. Do I care if I've arrived? No. What matters is the belief burning inside me, the unshakable conviction that drives every step. Obsession isn't a hobby, it's a calling, a relentless pursuit that rewrites the rules. Balance is a luxury for the satisfied. Greatness demands you tip the scales. The best don't coast. They dig deeper, unearthing every shred of will until the impossible cracks open. The haters who laughed, they're the ones clapping now, their stones turn to stepping stones for my ascent. Obsessed people don't just play the game, they reshape it, leaving the world no choice but to witness what they've forged. Section 4. The madness of belief. You've got to be wild enough to see the invisible, to believe in what others call impossible. That's the spark that turns dreams into legacies, the audacity to defy the odds when the world says you're outmatched. It starts with a single, unshakable thought. This can be mine. Once that takes root, the how falls into place piece by gritty piece, fueled by a personal fire that no doubter can extinguish. I've stumbled, I've fallen, but every scar is proof I'm still here, still rising. Confidence isn't borrowed. It's built, carved out of my own rhythm, my own way. I don't march to anyone else's drum. I move in a cadence all my own, unique in stride, in voice, in soul. I'm not just different. I'm a force on a plane they can't fathom, a player on a field they'll never touch. In my mind, the crown's already mine. The greatest of all time isn't a goal. It's my reality, etched in every choice I make, every step I take. Talent? It's a footnote. I'm not here because I was handed a gift. I'm here because I outworked the clock, the room, the doubters. While others rested, I pushed. While they feasted, I fought. Michael Jordan said, "I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." That's my gospel, a work ethic so fierce it borders on obsession, a hunger that won't settle for scraps when the table's set for kings. I carry more than my share because I demand more than my share. This isn't hope, it's a mandate. Life champions don't wish for wins, they claim them, going beyond the ordinary because ordinary returns aren't enough. Confidence isn't a chant in the mirror. It's a mountain of proof stacked high from every doubt I've crushed underfoot. I outwork the whispers, the fears, the limits, until the evidence is undeniable. I am what I say I am. That's not just belief, that's victory. Nailed down, sealed tight, and mine to keep, and mine. Section 5. The fire of persistence. Once there was a kid with a ball and a dream, a 17-year-old named BL who didn't fit the weekend scene. No invites, no crowds, just a quiet rec room and the steady thump of a basketball. While others partied, I dribbled into the night, the echo of loneliness morphing into something fiercer, a hunger, a drive, a vow to become the best I could be. Those solitary hours weren't exile. They were the kiln where my ambition took shape, where I learned that greatness isn't gifted, it's claimed through relentless will. Years stacked on years, decades of dawn to dusk effort, a grind that didn't bend to fatigue or doubt. 20 years later, standing atop my goals, I saw the truth. Consistency is king, but it's a delicate dance. 3 days a week pales next to 5, yet 7 might break you if the spark dims. Kobe Bryant knew this. He said, "You have to work hard in the dark to shine in the light." Enthusiasm is the fuel, but discipline is the engine. Together, they turn sacrifice into something you crave, not just endure. People see the finish line, the fluid stride, and call it effortless, but they miss the raw, jagged climb before it. The days when every muscle screams to quit, when the sun feels like a curse, when the alarm blares and your soul groans. I pushed through them all. It's not pretty, it's brutal, a daily death to comfort that forges something unbreakable. The grind isn't a sprint, it's a war, and every battle fought in silence builds the strength they'll one day applaud. There's no shortcut past the struggle. Failure comes first, again and again, until it doesn't. Those mornings you dread, those moments you'd trade for a soft escape, they're the forge of a life worth living. To skip the pain is to settle for mere existence, a shadow of what could be. I didn't just survive those years. I seized them, turned them into a roar that echoes beyond the rec room. Life without challenge is a flatline. I chose to rise, to live, to win. Section 6. The crossroads of choice. Life hands us moments, sharp, fleeting forks in the road that can shape everything to come. 19 years back, I sat on a cold rock, 297 pounds pressing down on me, the weight of more than just my body threatening to crush my spirit. There was no crowd, no stirring speech, just the biting chill and a choice: collapse under the strain or stand and fight on. I chose to rise, and that single quiet decision rewrote my future, proving that destiny pivots on the courage to move when quitting feels easiest. Excuses are a dime a dozen, a million little lies we tell ourselves to soften the fall. They were better. The chance slipped away. It's all noise. When the season ends in defeat, the real work begins. Not next week, not next month, but right now. Michael Jordan didn't dwell on losses. He turned them into fuel, saying, "I can accept failure. Everyone fails at something. But I can't accept not trying. How hard will I push this off-season? Until exhaustion is my shadow, until I've clawed my way back to the top." Winning isn't just physical. It's a mind forged in fire. The sharpest skills, the strongest frame, they're nothing without belief. A steel trust in your own grit. We all stumble, we all crash. The difference lies in who gets up, dusts off, and charges again. You pour everything into the chase, every drop of sweat, every ounce of heart. And even if you fall short, you've won the war against regret. Trying, truly trying, is the victory that lingers. Everyone's hunting for the fast fix, the 6-minute miracle that promises glory without grit. But real change, the kind that sticks, demands suffering, raw, unglamorous, and unrelenting. Stop whining about bad breaks. Stop waiting for the world to hand you something. While you're griping, someone else is grinding. Permanent strength comes from the struggle you choose, not the shortcuts you chase. That's the truth I live by. You don't just hustle, you suffer, you rise, you become. Section 7. The power of persistence. Stop stalling and start moving. Chase the dream, wrestle with your flaws, refine your life one step at a time. Read a book, sit in silence, seek the lessons hiding in every moment. My best advice? Tear down the walls you've built. The barriers that shield you from pain also block the light of joy. Embrace every experience, raw and unfiltered, because you never know which one will flip the switch and set your soul ablaze. Life turns on the unexpected. Don't hide from it, run toward it. Champions aren't born, they're sculpted, hammered out by daily choices that stack like bricks. It's not the grand gestures, but the quiet decisions. Dragging yourself out of bed for that run, pushing past the ache for one more rep, ignoring the snooze button's siren call. These inches, as Vince Lombardi might say, are the difference between winning and losing, between living and dying. Each small victory compounds, forging the gap between obscurity and a legacy that echoes. Your starting line doesn't dictate your finish. Background, wealth, or lack of it, none of that owns you. If you dream with audacity, work with ferocity, and sacrifice with purpose, the ring is yours to claim. Polish yourself through the grind, seize the moment when it comes, and step up like a champion. No matter where you began, one night of readiness can tilt the world's scales in your favor, raising your hand as the one who made it fair, who made it real. The gold lies beyond the grind, past the silence of no applause, no pats on the back. Most quit when the cheers don't come, but the longer you push without that external nudge, the rarer the air you breathe, and the greater the reward. Mike Tyson nailed it. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. I was 300 pounds, eyeing the Navy SEALs, planning a 4-mile run until life hit back. Plans falter, but persistence prevails. Stick to the path, and the opportunities others abandon become yours to conquer. Section 8. The strength of standing out. When the plan crumbles, when the weight of setbacks pins you to the canvas, when life unravels and the noise of doubt drowns out your own voice, what's left? One choice. Stay hard, stay defiant. Fear creeps in, whispering that being different is a curse, that oddity is weakness. But look at the giants, Einstein, Da Vinci, the trailblazers in every arena. They didn't blend in, they stood apart. Their power wasn't in sameness, it was in their unshakable, one-of-a-kind fire. Don't fool yourself into thinking brilliance is a gift reserved for others. You've got it too, a spark buried under excuses, waiting for you to dig it out with effort, not wishes. People say, "I'm not like them, I don't have that genius." Wrong. You do, it's just dormant, ignored, starved of the daily grind that turns potential into proof. Hoping won't cut it. Dreaming alone won't move the needle. Stack wins, relentless and real, or watch the days slip by unchanged. Victory isn't a single leap, it's a game of inches, played one sunrise at a time. Wake up, map out what a winner does, and execute. No shortcuts, no half measures. Kobe Bryant lived this. If you do the work, the results will come. Score 100 today. Every task, every push past fatigue, then reset to 0 tomorrow and do it again. One perfect day proves you can string 2 together, then 3, until the rhythm of winning becomes your pulse. The world celebrates the unique, the bold, the ones who dared to be more than a shadow. Your power hides in that same place, in the courage to be you, unapologetically, and back it up with action. Don't wait for permission or applause. Start today, win today. Stack enough of those days and the doubters fade, the canvas lifts, and what's left is undeniable. You, standing tall, a champion carved by your own hands. Section 9. The Uncommon Path. I wasn't always this unbreakable figure you see now. Strength like this is forged, not found. Life threw its punches, and I took them, dreaming all the while of being more than ordinary, an uncommon soul in a common world. I was spraying for roaches at Ecolab, pulling $11,000 a month, 300 pounds heavy, when I slumped home one night and caught a glimpse of Navy SEALs on TV, hauling boats, dragging logs, defying limits. That flicker of grit lit a fire in me, and I dialed a recruiter ready to rewrite my story. The voice on the line sized me up, 6'1", 300 pounds, and laughed. 7 others joined the chorus, mocking my audacity. "A Navy SEAL? You?" One sneered when I walked in, black and overweight, chasing a dream where only 35 like me had stood in 7 decades. "Lose 106 pounds in 3 months, he said, citing my age creeping too close to the cutoff. It wasn't a challenge, it was a dismissal, but I turned it into a mission, shedding the weight in a blur of sweat and will, walking back in lighter, prouder, and unstoppable. That recruiter's "I'm proud of you" wasn't just words, it was a mirror to the war I'd won within. Nobody expects you to have it all figured out. Anyone who demands perfection from the jump is blind to the journey. You're not supposed to be polished yet. Every scar, every stumble is a brick in the foundation. I fought for every inch, and when I look back, it's not the weight I lost, but the man I found that matters. You don't start whole, you build it, day by grueling day. Wisdom isn't instant. It's earned through the slow burn of experience, a portfolio of trials that teach you what no book can. The longer you live, the broader that canvas grows, the sharper your insight becomes. I've clawed my way to this place, and I'll be damned if I let it slip. Contentment's a trap when you've tasted more. There's always a path to push further, to claim more, and it starts with refusing to settle. That's the uncommon man I swore to be, and every step proves it's no dream, it's my truth. Section 10. The Relentless Flame. I get it. The lure of a day off, a pizza, the game on the screen, that warm blanket of good enough. It's tempting, seductive even, to sink into that comfort and call it a win. But I don't flick that switch. Why? Because settling is the enemy of hunger. And I'm not here to blend in with the average. People ask, how do you stay driven? Simple. I don't rest on yesterday's peak. Too many climb the mountain, plant their flag and coast, then wonder why their edge dulls, why they're slipping when they swore they'd made it. Once you hit the top, you don't sit. You build a new summit. Passion's my fuel and it's free, untouchable, mine alone to shape. Effort? That's the holy ground no one can trespass. Pure, isolated, a choice locked in my skull. No coach, no crowd can force it. I run to the ball, I finish the fight because I decide to. It's not talent or luck, it's fundamentals, the blocking and tackling of the soul, wearing down life's resistance until it breaks before I do. 15 minutes. That's all I ask of myself. Can I hold the line, keep the focus, stoke the fire when my concentration wavers? Pick it up, I tell myself, and I do. because that's control. The heat doesn't scare me. I'm a fireman trained in the blaze, at home in the furnace. Michael Jordan lived this. I play to win, whether during practice or a real game. Flames don't dictate my game. I harness them, bend them, make them mine. That's the competitor's creed. Master the inferno or get burned. If you're chasing something real, you've got to believe you're the best. Not tomorrow, not someday, but right now. I've carried that mindset since I could think, and I'll carry it till I can't. I'm the greatest at what I do. Every day I step into the fray, I fight to prove it, not for applause, but for the shot at making it true. Comfort kills hunger. Effort breeds champions. I don't just survive the fire, I wield it, and that's why I'll always have a chance to stand alone at the top. Section 11. The birth of belief. Greatness doesn't stumble into your lap. You have to see it, claim it, believe it before the first step lands. Without that faith, every road's a dead end. How bad do you want it? 2 paths split ahead. Push upward. Breathe life into the dream and dwell in its reality forever. Or quit, toss it aside, and watch it rot into regret. There's no corner of the earth far enough to resurrect a dream you've buried. It's your call right here, right now, to keep climbing or let it die. Fear's the gatekeeper. Fail to face it, and it'll break you. Conquer it, and it builds you. I've failed 10 times over, but each fall taught me to love the fear because behind it hides the man I'm meant to be. Fear's a ghost you summon. It's not real until you make it so, and you can banish it just as fast. Face it and you'll see it's a shadow, not a titan. My God, you'll say, I ran from this speck. Beat it down and that dread flips into power, confidence surging, whispering, what else can I shatter? What else am I made for? Run from fear and you're just breathing, not living. Face it, and you forge the person you ache to become. Freedom's carved through discipline, grueling, repetitive, doing what you'd rather skip. It's the grind you dread that armors your mind, toughens it like steel. Jordan said, the mind will play tricks on you. The body can take more than the mind thinks it can. Suffer daily, wrestle the suck, and when the real storms hit, you're not just ready, you're unbreakable, forged by the reps you didn't want to do. Discipline doesn't chase you down. It rises from the truth you dare to speak. Look in the mirror and say it, I'm not where I want to be. I can do more sweat, more grit, more for my family, more than this. If that's your gospel, if you believe it bone deep, you won't need to hunt for willpower, it'll hunt you. Truth ignites action. Belief births the journey. Step into it, or step aside. But know the dream only lives if you do. Section 12. The anchor of maturity. Emotional maturity is the quiet strength that holds you steady when life tilts off its axis. Some nights, sleep evades you. Some mornings, your pristine plans collide with chaos. Sandwiches you've got to choke down, like it or not. The mature mind doesn't flinch. It stacks the wins anyway. Eyes locked on purpose, undeterred by the storm. The immature crumble, whining, I didn't rest. Nightmares kept me up. Or, it's cold, it's raining. I don't feel right. Letting the day's hiccups derail the mission. Maturity doesn't bend to feelings. It bends the day to will. Take a hit. Planes crashing into towers, world shaking, and still, the course remains. Excuses are endless. A bad night, a gray sky, a gut punch from fate. But emotional maturity says no matter. It's the steel spine that keeps you moving when the fan's spinning with filth. Kobe Bryant lived this. Everything negative, pressure, challenges, is all an opportunity for me to rise. You don't rewrite your life's rhythm for every tremor. You play through because purpose isn't weather dependent. It's forged in the choice to act, not react. Your emotions can steer you, but only if you let them. Lean into discipline when the ground's unsteady, and you'll find it's less about feeling good and more about doing right. The immature tether their actions to mood, up one day, stalled the next. A seesaw that sabotages any shot at lasting wins. Maturity knows the truth. How you feel doesn't own you unless you hand it the reins. Suboptimal's just a word. It's not a stop sign. Push past it, and outcomes bow to your resolve, not your restlessness. This isn't about ignoring the mess, it's about mastering it. Sleep short, plans trashed, world on fire, stack the wins anyway. That's the mark of a man who's grown beyond whim, who's learned that motion isn't a slave to emotion, it's a servant to discipline. The immature stall waiting for sunshine, the mature march through the rain. One builds a life, the other just survives it. Your choice shapes the scoreboard every single day.